enough of that. Enough of all that. We gotta talk about them things.
Them things.
Who do we talk about first? Who do we talk about first? Well, first and foremost, let's get the Nairo stuff out the way, since this is like a follow up to what we talked about already. So Nairo has come back from his almost a year hiatus from the internet. He decided to get off the internet and take a lot of legal actions. If you're not aware, Nairo, including a lot of others, competitive Smash players, were outed for sexual relations with a minor. And multiple of those Smash people, we just so happen to be the people at the top and the social circles and whatnot. And so a lot of that social standing kind of just went downhill. And Nairo and a lot of other people decided to just get off the internet and take legal action. Some just ran away entirely. And that's pretty much it. So Nairo, for the last couple months, have been in a legal battle with CaptainZack. If you guys know, he was the quote-unquote victim of that story. And he came back, and Nairo... not only did he come back and say that I don't want to choose the wrong term, but I think they settled on something in court, and you come to find out that he also came out and talked about him being raped by CaptainZack, him being unconscious, him being taken advantage of by CaptainZack, and you find out that Samsora, one of the friends of both of them, knew about the situation and proceeded to flip-flop on each side, and eventually he ended up being banned from the community and tournaments and shit. Nairo is back to streaming on YouTube. He is still banned on Twitch, but he was still able to get his Twitter following back. He's been welcomed back with open arms, and I'm happy personally.
Not a lot of people you see on the internet can do that.
Yeah, that's the truth.
The only other notable person, it was Pro Jared.
Yeah, last person that we said I did was Pro Jared. Pro Jared came back in a monster 45-minute video.
He clapped back.
He came back in a monster 45-minute video. But Nairo came back.
He set the precedence though. Like Nairo followed his lead.
Yup. If you're gonna come back, you have to have some type of you have to come back. If you didn't do anything and you can prove that you didn't do anything, run them the receipts. People are looking for you, because at the end of the 10, I'm pretty sure everybody, when we heard about Nairo being one of those niggas that were getting outed or whatever, everybody was like, no, not Nairo. People love Nairo. People love Nairo. So the fact that he came back with a 4 or 5 page document regarding his experiences, what really happened, it gave more clarity to it. But then he came back with a legal document as well, hey, this is it. It's at that point, what you gonna say to him?
Exactly.
He's made his case, and he's proven himself. And the fact that all these people that were shunning him ended up becoming people that already knew about the situation but wanted to condemn Nairo anyway. The fact that still happens, and now that they're gone, they're deplatformed. Niggas look at them so you knew what Zack did to him.
Yep.
But to look socially, you know what I'm saying? But to look socially accepted, you condemned him still. So it's okay. Now we're banning all you niggas. Nairo's coming back. I saw Nairo come back on YouTube. He was streaming. It was one of the best things. It was one of the best things to look at, because he looked happy. He looked happy.
Yes.
It was that's dope. That's amazing.
You can even go back to the last couple podcasts when we talked about that, and I said, I don't give a fuck about anybody else within the community getting outed for the shit that they get outed for. If they gotta go, they gotta go. That's fine. But the main problem, the one problem that people should have been looking at, was CaptainZack. I don't care what anyone said on that matter. And that goes into my whole, I need to word this the way that it won't sound really fucked up. The believe all victims and the mentality and action behind saying things like that needs to have some matter of checks and balances. It's not that you don't need to believe someone, if a woman or guy comes to you and hey, this happened, or I was assaulted, I was raped, anything like that. It's not that your first instinct shouldn't be to believe them, but it should come with something backed behind that, if that makes sense. This CaptainZack kid. Yeah, because there was tons of information on this CaptainZack guy, and I've been saying it. There's 9 tweets that somebody pulled up. From me saying the stuff in the past.
So there's been there's a year before any of that shit that happened in the Smash community happened. There was a whole couple of twit-longers and documents already out on Zack, but everybody treated it as rumors, and they put it under the fucking rug.
No. They didn't treat it as rumors because he was a minor, they null and voided it. He can't be a predator. He can't be a rapist. He can't do these things because he's underage. He's a minor. So they passed it off, and that's what I'm talking about. People cape for a lot of situations because of X like thing going on.
Okay,
and that allowed him to keep doing this shit.
I have a question for anybody that's watching this stream or listening to this stream on whatever platform, on anybody on YouTube. I have a humongous question for you. If you were 16 years old, right, and one of your friends got in trouble because this does happen to a lot of little girls, 16, 17, 15 years old, you find out one of your friends molested their little sister who's like 9, 8 years old or some shit. Do you just pass that off because she's a minor? They're both minors? No. Mm-mm. That just sounds fucking weird. That's uncomfortable to talk about.
Yep.
You know? So it's like you just because we're on the internet doesn't change that fact. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't change shit at all. So it's like I don't like that either. I don't like excusing that minor shit, like minors can't be predators when minors can obviously be predators, and 9 out of 10 you know somebody who in high school was a predator.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, definitely.
And that's where a lot of that comes into play with that Zack stuff, you know. And now shout out, like, I don't think you guys watch him, but I do. So like shout out to Technicals for, he doesn't give a fuck about the community as far as like whether or not it's good or bad. He wants people to hold one another accountable for the shit that they quote unquote speak about. Everyone that called out the whole Nairo situation, the anti situation, I don't even remember who else got outed for a lot of the shit, but all those guys that got outed for anything, that whole Me Too movement pushing that narrative and removing basically all the top names in Smash Bros are gone now. You know, removing them.
I don't know if you watched his video on anti.
Not yet. It's in my watch later feed for the queue.
I feel like out of all the cases, anti was probably like the least important one personally.
Yeah. I haven't seen it yet. I have to watch it.
Because like I feel like a lot of people treated it as serious as the CaptainZack and Nairo shit and the Zero shit.
They treated them all that way.
They treated them all like the same way, but it was like if you compare the anti shit was really just him being lied to, and then a lot of the women in that community just coming up and just being like, yeah, he's a womanizer.
Yeah. And they blamed him for needing to know that. And it's like,
yeah, and it's like, wait a minute.
Lied.
Yeah, I mean, she lied. This is my thing, too. You're not going to walk up to a random ass person and ID them.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you are security.
Yeah.
Unless you're someone of, like, I guess, a bigger status, which we'll get into later about a certain someone. But,
okay. But you know what's funny is that, like, even in Anti in his defense, because I watched his video on it. I didn't see Technicals yet. But Anti even showed the chat logs that he could show, you know, because Snapchat doesn't allow you to like pull up shit and save it, or Tinder, my bad. Tinder doesn't let you save things. There was 2 things. One, he's like, on Tinder, you need to be 18 or older. So like that's already a law in itself. And then 2, in order for you, or not in order for you to do anything, when he was talking to her about her age or whatever, she's like, I'm 18. And like she showed, you know, like her ID and all that kind of shit to, you know, proof
so she got
of age.
A fake ID?
Yeah, so it's like, if you're gonna go to that extent to lie, like that's not on me.
Yeah, at that point, he's perfectly fine. Him being a womanizer, it depends on who you're asking. It's whatever. Like, who cares?
That's not illegal.
Yeah, that's just you morally not agreeing with
you're just a bad person at that point.
You don't agree with how he chooses to live his life, but it's not illegal to do that. You know, it's whatever. But I think that like out of that entire situation, the fact that he's being able to be given a platform again and like, you know, talk about his shit is very interesting because it just shows growth in that community and growth in the minds of just kind of just the community as a whole. Because it's like, you know, yeah, we just condemned on these people, but if we really look back, and a lot of people just did not research anything. It showed a lot of people don't look at shit.
Yeah.
Like
they don't read.
Like a lot
That's
of people.
That's why I don't believe when people say like cancel culture isn't a thing or it doesn't exist. And
cancel
it's like,
culture
no,
is 100% a thing.
Yeah, it's definitely a thing. You guys bandwagon on a lot of shit just to be doing it.
You niggas don't go in.
No research.
And that's the problem, right? The problem is, and I feel like this is when it's gonna like spark a lot of shit, but I feel like Yoko's gonna agree with me on this. Believing the victim completely absolves research for the people who don't really care that much.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's like
they don't need to look into anything.
At that point, if you're just a random ass person and somebody was told, yeah, did you hear about so and what he did to this girl? No, what happened? Oh, he did this, that, and the third. Mind you, this person you're probably getting this information from probably hasn't read all the documents, probably hasn't, like, you know, seen both sides of the spectrum or whatever, and you're just like, oh, really? Fuck that nigga then.
Yep.
Fuck him.
And it's just like, it's like mute noise.
Yeah.
Because you don't give a fuck, but you're gonna tell somebody.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure half the people that bandwagon on certain cancel shits don't really give a fuck. They go back to their everyday lives and they get off Twitter. You know, they just gotta look good. They just gotta look good for social media.
That goes into my shit though. Like, I honestly, I'm just gonna say it, and I can say this because I ain't doing shit with my life half the time. No way. A lot of motherfuckers on the internet are fucking losers, and they point at other losers to make themselves feel better about being losers. And it's like, dude, you need a life. Like, go touch some grass. It just
touch grass. That's my favorite one. Touch grass.
Touch grass,
go touch some grass.
It's disgusting. I was thinking about, as you guys were talking about how people just don't do research, I was thinking about maybe like a couple months ago, there's this trans girl who scammed a lot of people saying that she got kidnapped.
What?
Yes.
Who's this at?
Yes.
What?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. No. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. They were sending all types of GoFundMes and stuff like that too.
Yep. And then later on came out that her and her friend came up with this whole plan to, you know, put a missing girl poster. It was her, and it was fake. It was a scam.
Wasn't it her sister that came out and said, like,
it was her friend?
Okay, there we go. Yeah, her friend came out and said that, like, this is how she is, and this isn't true. And
damn,
like,
that's fucked up. She just went. She didn't get a cut of the money. That's what that was.
Basically.
And my thing was, it was just like, y'all need to research. It shouldn't have took that long for y'all to figure out that was a scam, mind you. But at the same time, you know, there were people that were obviously suspicious of it. But I feel like you shouldn't disregard or be like, yo, you're insensitive. This person's missing. And you're talking about this could be fake. What's wrong with you? They have every right to feel that way. Or to be like, oh, this seems odd. I don't.
You can't question that kind of stuff anymore, though, because it perpetuates the idea that you are, one, victim blaming, and two, looking for a reason to not believe said situation.
We gotta talk about nuance. We gotta talk about nuance. Needs to be a topic for one of these podcast episodes now that we're back, because I feel like a lot of people, you know, it's so weird how Mikey used the word black and white regarding politics, but in certain situations like these, there's a lot of nuances to a lot of these situations that I feel like a lot of people aren't, like, thinking about. And
for sure,
one of these days, I definitely want to have that conversation so I can let people know how fucking stupid you are. And I want you to think about it. How fucking stupid you are.
The thing with politics and me calling it black and white, we have the what is it? We have the gift of hindsight, because when things happen, we can look back on them and we can say for sure that, hey, yeah, this was a bad thing that happened, and we shouldn't have to do that again. Now, with things like the, you know, allegations with minors and all that kind of stuff, that is a little bit of a gray area, because one, yes, we should believe victims, but not everybody's a victim.
Yeah.
I saw a tweet, if you don't mind me saying, people are throwing the word abuse around very lightly.
Oh, I've been saying that, yeah. You
know, and it was like, just because someone was rude to you does not equate abuse.
Thank you.
Everything is assault. Everything is abuse. Bro,
I want you to know, like, I've been seeing these, like, popular tweets, and I can't lie to you, a lot of you people are fucking crybabies. You niggas are mentally weak. Go get help. I've seen a lot of people do, like, this, like, weird tactic where it's like mind games. They'll try to move the definitions around to fit, like, their agendas and shit. And it's like, that's not abuse, my nigga. That's disrespect. Yeah. Yep. People don't respect you. That doesn't mean that's a you thing, you bitch. maybe if you weren't so fucking and this is victim blaming. This is if you weren't a bitch, people would respect you more. But that
But
goes
that,
back to
at that point,
that
you're not a
goes-
victim if you're just being disrespected.
Yeah, you're just being disrespected. Like, people can be different from each other. I hate the fact that, like, we have to sit here as a collective, as a society, and think of the exact same way. Otherwise, you get left behind, or otherwise, you are the problem. You're part of the problem. But it's like, wait a minute. Whoa. I can still support your cause, right? Because I do believe the victims to an extent, and I do believe, obviously, what abuse. I know abused people before. I know victims.
All right.
So it's like I do believe in that shit, but at the same time, just because I don't sign to the same morals and ideals as you does not make me any less of a person than you are, and you shouldn't condemn me for feeling that way as long as I'm not being hostile or showing animosity towards you.
Or instances,
we have to have this conversation. The world does not revolve around you. Nobody gives a fuck about you unless they're in your life.
Yeah.
Nobody knows who you are half the time.
You can turn off YouTube. You can shut down Twitter, and these people don't exist anymore.
Exactly. These people on you. Look, I don't exist to you. Anybody, none of the people in this podcast, none of these niggas you know in real life. You will probably never meet us in real life unless we do like a panel at a fucking con or whatever next 2 or 3 years when the world opens up or some shit. But even then, you'll never know who we really are. And the moment you get off this video, the moment you leave the stream, the moment you leave a like, you donate, whatever, you go back to your every fucking day life, you don't know who we are. And we don't know who you are. We're talking to you. We don't know who you are. Yep. There comes a point where you are forced to not give a fuck. It's okay to not give a fuck.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Not everything on this planet needs an emotional reaction to it.
Not everything needs a fucking reaction.
What are you going to do when you leave the stream? You're going to be upset for the rest of the day. God, they didn't give a fuck about me. I'm just so upset. God, I can't believe it.
On Twitter and look at more upsetting shit.
And you're going to unfollow them. You're going to find somebody else to replace them because that's just how the content space works. If you don't like somebody, you replace them. You know what I'm saying? Content creators are just, it sucks to say this because I am one, but content creators are just transaction for people. We entertain and they leave. That's it.
I want it to be okay for me to say this because I did see this. It's okay to outgrow somebody's content. It's okay.
It's okay to outgrow somebody.
Yeah.
Yes, outgrow somebody. It's okay.
Okay. Do I want to do this? Do I want to do this?
No.
Don't do it.
Are we naming content creators?
Bro, we don't have another hour, bro. We do not have another hour.
Okay.
We ain't gotta.
Okay. I keep it to myself. But it happens, and unfortunately, I feel like a lot of people are very afraid of change. And it's one of those things where you growing out of people and growing out of a group of people, you growing out of doing something for so long, or you growing just growing in general. A lot of people are afraid of the repercussions that come with leaving that. Especially when the odds are against you. Like, imagine, like, you have a whole friend group that you grew out of. Now you're alone and you have to go out and find new friends. But now you're scared because it's like, damn, I have to find people that are just like me, or like my same shit, or like or in my shit like that. So it's like you gotta, it's okay. Like, half this shit that I see online, this shit is so fucking trash. It's just assumption based. It's just pushing an agenda that they believe internally. And it's like, dog, look, I understand that you have gone through shit, but nobody gives a fuck about your trauma. Besides the people that you care about, besides people that care about you, that is you. What happened to the whole everybody is in their own bubble, or in their own space and shit, and everybody that's in their lives are the planets? You remember that fucking saying?
Yeah. Everybody's
in their own little bubble. And the people that you associate with, that you love and care about, those are the people that you that have that luxury of having access to you. You putting yourself and your shit on the internet is just giving people who don't give a fuck about you access to you.
Well, the problem with that is when the internet boomed, all that shit went out the window because, hey, wow, this guy from Texas said something to me. And now he thinks that, I matter to him or her or however that works. So that shit used to fly, when not everything was so connected. We're living in an entirely different era.
Right.
Like this internet era is so fucking different from what anybody is ever used to. It's throwing people for a loop.
But it's dumb as fuck because now a lot of people are going outside with no way to actually talk to each other.
Yep.
You can't go outside and say half the shit you can say on Twitter. You will get your ass fucked. You will get fucking bodied. Real talk.
Keyboard warriors.
If you go outside and say some stupid shit, you will get smacked the fuck up.
Or like situations like this, because this one's for me personally, I resonate with. I don't have that interaction with people anymore to be able to go outside and look folks in the eye and be able to get like used to that. I can't do that now. But, you know, if I did, I'd be looking everybody in the eyeball. Looking in the eyeball, y'all. I'm just saying, it's just like everybody's able to look on Twitter, say whatever they want, you know, have this persona online, you know, talk to people from Tokyo, Australia, you know, be tough, be sweet, be a lovable person. But are you actually that?
You know what I'm saying? But
when you turn off your computer, are you that?
But while we doing that, because Mikey's right, we don't have another hour.